First of all, let me tell you what a pleasure it is to be with you, because I got to tell you, as good as Max is, it's you, because you are as good as we are. Came to be very apparent last night. It's my honor to be with you. My name is Michael Clapier. I've had the privilege of being at Max about 6 years, watched Max all of its time. At one time or another in my life, I've made my living as a singer, as a dancer, as a comedian, as a writer, as a video producer, as a media producer. Dance. They're just saying that to me. I can't believe it. I said one time in my life I've made my living as. But I love language. About 30 years ago, while I was working on my degree in mass communications with a public relations focus, my minor is English, I was looking for work, and I found a job with a man named Clifton Jolly, and he was a consultant to the network marketing industry. He ended up being my mentor, and when he hired me, he said, I get a slave and you get a job. And he wasn't kidding, but I learned from him, and I learned about networking, and I love the networking business model. And I love people, and I love communicating with people, and I love language. I love the beauty of language. I love the lyric of language. I love Spanish. In Spanish, they have a thing we don't have in English. In Spanish, they have an R. And the R, when you say the R, you trill the R. Rrr. And it makes it beautiful, because a few years ago, there was a man selling Cordobas. And his name was Ricardo Montalban, and he was selling Cordobas. And when he sold you the car, he said, the rich Corinthian leather in your new Cordoba. I thought that was so good. I love doing that. Romanticism, Cordoba. We don't have leather in English. What would English be like if we had something like that? What would English be like if we rolled our L's? Hello. My name is Michael, and I'm from Salt Lake City. And everything would be different. Musical would be different. Musicals would be different. Think of Cinderella, when the prince sees the beautiful woman and he sings, do I love you because you're beautiful? Or are you beautiful? Because I love you. Are you the sweet enticings of a lover's dream? Wait. Or are you just as beautiful as you sleep? Night. So I love stories well told. I love what Max is about. And I love each of you with great, great, great joy in saying that. My sweet bride, which you've been so kind to ask how she was. I'm married to Linda, and in Spanish that's called Linda. And Linda means beautiful, so her name is Beautiful, Beautiful. We have 6 children. We've raised 6 children. They're in good marriages. We have 23 grandchildren. And I have to tell you that I know dreams come true because my grandson taught me. And we're going to talk today about how you make the dreams come true. My grandson, at Halloween, we always do a tradition. We bring the grandkids over and we paint up a door. We call it the scary door, and then they have to go in the scary door. When they come to the door, I say, whatever you do here tonight, do not open the scary door. And of course, they can't wait till they open the scary door. And then when they come at Christmas, we've changed the scary door to a decoration with Santa. And my grandson Landon came up and he said, oh, I get it now. When there's no pumpkin, but there's a Santa, it's Christmas. And then I have a friend who plays Santa. He is Santa. He's wonderful. And we have him come to our house so my grandchildren can sit on his knee and tell him their dream as long as they want. And then we take pictures. And Landon came up to me and he said, Grandpa, it worked. I said, what? He said, I closed my eyes and I believed that if we sang some songs, that Santa would come. And he did. And I said, and he said, dreams come true, Grandpa. And I said, yes, they do. And I'm here because I'm with a group of people who want to see their dreams come true. And I'm going to show you. Now, what we're going to do today is called performance coaching. What we're going to do is we're going to dig deep. Now, I don't want you to look at that manual and go, oh my gosh, I can't, this is overwhelming. It's not. Because it's like taking baby steps. Imagine your favorite sport. My favorite sport is wrestling and football. I've coached wrestling, I've coached football. If I were to tackle someone, I have 6 or 7 coaching points within that process. I have to have my weight down. I have to have my back straight. I have to have my head up. I have to have my feet active. I have to engage. I have to wrap my arms. I have to drive through the opponent and take him to the ground. If I miss any of those steps, then I'm not successful. And what you have before you is a workbook to help you see where you are, help to measure where you are, and help you determine how I want to do, what I want to do, and where I want to go and how fast to get that. So we're going to dive into that. But first, I have to give you a message from Joe Wojtycki. First of all, he loves you. And Joe Wojtycki's message, of those of you who don't know, Joe Wojtycki is our CEO. Joe Wojtycki is a Harvard-educated lawyer, and he was hired by Max International to do the due diligence on the science of cellgevity and ribosine. And when he did that, and he reported back to Max that science is worth the investment, Dr. Nagasawa, who did the scientific research, Dr. Nagasawa said, Joe, I'll do the deal with Max if you are the boss, if you are the CEO. And Joe became the CEO, and he is doing Max's vision, Dr. Nagasawa's vision. You've heard what the product can do for people, and that vision is to take the product everywhere in the world. We are Max International. We will not back away from that. We have tentacles everywhere in the world, but we need to be strong. And that means that we need to have a stronger North America, and that means we need to grow North America. Now, North America has its own challenges. We're going to dive into that. But right now, if you'll open your book and you go to the page where you see the circle. Now, if you ever want to have a great 20 minutes, search Simon Sinek on YouTube, and it's about page 3 or 4. Search Simon Sinek on YouTube and have him explain to you the why. That's what the circles are. We've heard the why. I've had this product experience, but the why doesn't just come from product experience. The why can come from the fact that I'm broke and I don't know what I'm going to do for my future. Do you know that 80% of Americans, and it's probably pretty close in Canada, 80% of Americans, and there are 18,000 people turning 65 today, 80% of those people do not have a sufficient retirement. That's a group of people. Do you realize that 20,000 people this month will lose their job because of artificial intelligence and automation that are taking jobs away? There are jobs that you did in your life right here in this room that are gone now because of artificial intelligence, and there are automations that can now do what people did, and that's going to grow. Those are people who are looking for Max International. People who don't have a legacy of financial stability are looking for Max International. The #1 living condition for young men post-college in America, and I'm sure it's close in Canada, is back home with mom and dad. Why? Because they're educated, because they've learned a diploma, but they don't know what they want to do. They're not connected with their dreams, and more importantly, they're not connected with their purpose. There's an audience for Max International. Are you talking to those audiences? Everyone talking to those 3 audiences, raise your hand. Yeah, okay. All right. I want you to turn to your partner. Talk to somebody you didn't talk to before. We're going to take about 7 minutes. I want you to answer, you've already answered the first question, why are you here? The second question is, what are you willing to do to get what you want? But the third question is, what is something you've done that was very, very difficult? Take 7 minutes, talk to someone you didn't talk to, and share with them for about 3 minutes, then flip and the other person share. John, would you keep track of the time? Or Ian, do you have a watch? 3 minutes. Something you've done that was very difficult to do. Something you've done that was very difficult to do. 3 minutes. Share it, and in 3 minutes, the other person shares.
You're too funny, Michael.
I love Kelly because I love Kelly. because she actually listens to me. But she's wonderful because, and I'm going to brag about her for a second. Not only does she have a strong organization worldwide in several countries, but she has held a strong platinum position. I tell her it's 8 months, she says it's 5 months, but it's strong. And the struggle of understanding and doing difficult things as you moved up through the ranks, tell us what that was like.
Okay.
And was it the same when you became bronze, when you became silver, when you became gold, platinum, and now pretty soon diamond?
Diamond.
You're right there.
Yeah, it's been, my whole goal has been to move from the corporate sector to a vehicle, a model, a business model where I can be entirely free to do whatever I want every single day of my life and make the same amount of money and a lot more than I ever did in the corporate sector. So that is my why 10 years ago, that's my why today. And so what has been the most difficult thing, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but what has been difficult is to reprogram myself from that corporate executive to a network marketing professional. And that's what I feel that I am today. So I want to take, can I explain in a few minutes?
You bet.
Because this is my story, it's my book.
Go, babe.
Okay. So let's go back a bit, because it's important to understand my mindset and what I had to do and the actions that I had to take to get to platinum. And what's really fun now and exciting and having that posture and excitement is that platinum, I have achieved that dream now that I started 10 years back. Awesome. And now I am shooting more for diamond and dreaming big, which I never thought was possible because of the belief in the industry and my experiences. So very, very quickly, 2002, corporations are starting to downsize because of technology at that point in time. And I had a choice, whether to be packaged out or to go to another department. What is important to understand is that I had the seeds of entrepreneurship right then. So you're looking for people that have that desire to be that. That's what you're looking for. And what happened is that, I started to work to look for that model. I decided to go full-time. But I was a corporate executive. I didn't know the network marketing industry. I didn't have the skills to do that. So I'm in that mindset. And I failed. And then I tried different companies. And then I would go back. And what I learned is that in the different industries, there wasn't the breakthrough products, whether it was that, they didn't have the strength at the executive team, they didn't have the deep pockets to travel around the world or to build around the world, and that is what was important to be able to be in a strong network marketing company. So the right company, I had to go through that to understand what the right company is, which is Max International.
Great. When you were doing that, so all that process, these are the hard things, right? You were doing that process. You were moving up the ranks. You were getting better. You had an opportunity to go back to work in the corporate sector. Tell us about that quickly.
Yeah, so what had happened is that, I decided after a lot of experiences, and I'm sure that many people have experienced that, it was like the model sounded great, really loved it, but I didn't necessarily have the belief in the model because I wasn't getting the success in the model. But what I realized is that I didn't have that experience in it. I didn't have the skills that were necessary. So what I'd have to do is go back into a job. I'd be creative. I'd find things that I needed to do. I'd survive. And every time I grew, because I followed a lot of the different trainings, and then Chris introduced me to Max. In 2007, he introduced me to Max. I was so burnt out from network marketing, I said, absolutely no way. You mean the product's not even here? Not touching this. But he kept in touch with me for 4 years. 4 years, I was rebuilding financially, started going back into the corporate sector. But what was happening is that having that experience about being free, I love that. I really loved that, and I wanted to still continue on that dream. So I started to to learn more skills and become a different person and listen to positive-minded people and gurus that had mindsets of driving and being hungry and all of these things I was constantly listening to. And so I'd have to go back. So I'm tiptoeing back and forth, but I'm moving forward. And then what had happened is that I started to build from my local contacts internationally, and then once again, I learned the mindset of people in other countries, and that they were really hungry. That was the definition of really hungry. And Les Brown says, you got to find people that are hungry, right?
Pretty good.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So that's what I did, is that my hungry was like, yeah, hungry, 12 o'clock, yeah, I'm hungry. No, hungry, right?
Once again, very
I
good.
was hungry. So that is the difference. That changed my thinking, my mindset, because that's who I was looking for now. That experience taught me that. So what happened? It started getting the results, making more income. Then I was on this engine. I was duplicating. I was building a team. I started to make more money. I was like, you know what? Maybe this model does work, I started believing, started educating more and more and more. I was educating. And then what happened is that I started to go from that silver. I broke through that. I broke through from that silver to that I'd been a long time into gold because of that change of mindset and being willing to take calculated risk and to learn from it and grow and go back and forth. And then I was on a roll, and I was going to platinum because I was halfway through there in the month. In my mind, my decision is that I was going to get there, and there was nothing that was going to stop me.
And what I love about your story is that when you went back and had to engage with the corporate sector again, you realized what? That you were different.
I was different. I mean, I had changed. I was a different person. I had developed so many skills. I was so resourceful. And when I went back, I mean, for the most part, if you're working a job for 30 years, that's the life. It was mediocrity. People that are not really dreaming big. That's because we program and we dull ourselves down to that. Nothing wrong with that. But if that's not what you're looking for, you have to realize that that's what you're programming. So it became so painful to go back and to be amongst people that I was up here and going back into mindsets that they were just getting by on a daily basis, just living and existing in life. It's like, no, I don't want that. So it became so painful to actually go to work every single day. And that's when I knew I was starting to change. And in baseball, you hit that third commitment, the third base commit line where you have got to go the way because you've changed now. That's where I was, and I'm going to the top.
I know you are. Thank you. Kelly Ronson. Now, do you see the correlation? You heard a story that was very, very difficult, and you realize it's possible. You heard her experience where she became this, then this, then this, because she grew, because she became better, and she eventually got to the point where she no longer wanted to face the corporate world. She wanted to find people who were like-minded or develop people who were driving to that like-mindedness, and she wanted to be able to become what she is now. On one side, she has the volume for diamond. She's building the other side. She's very, very close. She's going to be our next diamond in North America. She's doing great. Okay, on the booklet at the bottom, so you see that right on the page around the circle, say Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. Get a hold of him on Google and watch his about the why. Discover the why. That'll give you that understanding. He calls it the golden circle. I got to know my why, because that drives you to the what, which we're going to talk about throughout this day, and the how, and the what is what you accomplish. That's the result of what you're going to do. We're going to dig deeper into that. Okay, at the bottom of that page, you see a question. Now, we're running a little behind. I want to give time to our Crown Diamond, Chris, but we're going to let you dig in that. But look at that question. And this is what I want you to think about a lot, and we're going to give you some time after Chris sets the stage for us to know who we're looking for as partners. We know the product's going to do what it does, right? It's got a patent that says it'll raise glutathione levels. We don't have to worry about the product. Get it in their mouth. That's how you worry about it. I love Eric Levitos. He says, take the product. I know, but I don't want to take the product. You talked to me 6 months ago. I know you got to take the product. Leave me alone. I don't want to take the product. Please stop talking to me, but you got to take the product. The product will take care of itself. We've got to do something. And here's what Kelly did. This is my last comment, and then we'll go. What Kelly gave us is this. In order for you, this is James Allen out of As a Man Thinketh. Great little essay. If you haven't read it, read it. If you read it again. As a man thinketh, and this is what he said, you do not attract what you want. What do you want? You all want to be diamonds, right? You attract what you are. Write that down. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. In North America, Max International needs to attract not what we want. We already have attracted what we are, but we need to become better because we are not done. I am convinced, write that quick and then look at me, my dear sweet friends. I am convinced that the people who will make the most money in Max International will be recruited by you. Say that. I will recruit the biggest money maker in the company. Tell that to your friend. I will recruit the biggest money maker in the company. Okay, we're going to take a deeper dive in because we don't have time right now, but this next point is critical. What are the obstacles that are stopping you from doing that? We'll find time. It might be during lunch, but we've got to take a deeper dive in that. But I want to give Chris his time to set up this next concept. So Ian, it's back to you. We're going to keep working. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.